opened up your browser, you're going to go ahead and you're going to search up Sketchpad 5.1. Okay, be careful when you search it up because you don't want to click on whatever shows up. You have to look for 5.1. That's the newest, most up-to-date program, and all the previous versions still show up. So click on the one that says 5.1. It's normally the first one up. So you're going to come to this page and you're going to press New. And we're going to make it nice and simple because we want a square. We're going to go to Custom Size and Instagram, 640 by 640. Blank and create. So it doesn't matter which one you're on. There we go. Now what we need to do is upload your reference photo. So we're going to go to Clip Art and load your own image. And ideally you should have this saved to your computer already. There we go. And then you can click on that image and you're going to drag it out to be the size of the art piece you want to make. So you want to fill it to fit the whole canvas. There we go. It's about as big as I want it. Actually, maybe I'll make it bigger. You want to make good use of your space. There we go. That'll be a good mosaic. So I'm going to deselect by clicking on the side. If I go to my layers, what I click on here shows up. So my clip art is on one layer and my background's on another. Okay. I'm going to deselect both. And then go to Tools. And I'm going to upload, oh actually, let's go to Layers. For the clip art, make sure you're clicking on that. We're going to change the opacity to be about 50%. So that it's easier for you to create on top of and see what you're doing. Deselect, layers, make sure nothing's select. Okay, we're good. Now we're going to upload a second picture. And it's going to be the same one you uploaded before. But this time, we're going to set the opacity up all the way to 100. Oops. Ah! Okay, let's click on what we want and turn up the opacity. There we go. And we're just going to keep this as a little reference photo for color. So we can grab color from it later as we work. Okay, but you're not going to be keeping this photo or your background photo. Those are just to help you as you work. So now we can actually start making shapes. So we're going to go to Layers, make sure nothing is selected. That means nothing's highlighted in yellow. So I'm going to deselect. Go to Tools, then go to Calligraphy. I'm going to choose the tool I want, which is the Pathway tool. And then I'm going to change up some settings here. So we want the fill and color. And we're going to start with the nose, so black is good. What we don't need, though, is an outline, so you can get rid of that. And you'll know you've done it right because as you start clicking to create your shape, it'll start filling with the color you want. There we go, I got my color. And then if I want to move that shape around, I can click on the Select tool, and I can move it around. Okay. And we want our mosaic to be fairly symmetrical, so whatever you make in the center should be all lined up, or if it's going to be on one side, it should somewhat match on the other side. Okay. Let's make some more shapes. Oh yeah, by the way, when you're making your shapes, what you can do is you can actually name your pathway by double-clicking on it, and you can actually name this nose, and then whatever piece it is, so 1. So if you have multiple pieces around the nose, you can each label them, and that way if you need to move something around later, it's easier to figure out which layer is which piece on your artwork, okay? So, deselect, I'm going to make something else here. Let's add some stuff around the eyes, so I'm going to go here. This is where your other picture comes in handy. You're going to click on the eyedropper, choose a color around the eye, and then there you go. When you're making shapes next to each other, make sure that you don't put them too close. You leave a little bit of a gap. So for example, there's a bit of a space there, and that's so that after you've made your mosaic of shapes, we can put in a background color and you can see the background color. Okay, let's make a couple more shapes. There we go. Also, if you don't like the color that you select, you can play around with it in here too. There we go. A little bit more orangey. Great. So oh yeah, and don't forget to label those. So I've just made a whole bunch. I can go in and go I1 or a round die, I2, go below I. Okay, just like that, and you would ideally do that to everything. Okay, so deselect. Once you have finished creating a whole mosaic of the animal, you can actually hide your reference photos by clicking on the eye and layers. And then you would go to your background, click it so it's highlighted, go to tools, and you would change the fill to a color that you would want your background to be. Okay? And that's how you would finish your piece. Then to save it, what you would do, so what you would do when you're going to save it is you're going to go to the export, and you're going to save it as a JPEG. There you go. There's your picture, okay? Not very exciting right now. Say you haven't finished though. Now let's change that back to white. And let's bring everything back. Say you haven't finished. The program should save automatically, but it can be glitchy. So you always kind of want a backup plan, like a plan B. So your plan B is to save it, but it won't be an editable, you won't be able to edit the document. So what you're going to do is you're going to have to hide those pieces and just have this, okay? And then your background, you're going to hide that. Anything checkered means it's just empty space. There's nothing there, it's translucent. And then you're going to save it with a JPEG. Okay. I'm going to rename this, I don't know, test 1, and I'll put it on my desktop so it's easy to find. There we go. Okay. Or how about let's name it Fox in Progress. Okay, cool. Now, if we ever open up the program and go to our saved files, if it's not there, what we can do instead is open up a new canvas, the same size we chose before, so Instagram, 640 by 640. And then we can go to Tools, Clip Art, load your own image, Fox in Progress, and open. And there we go, we have our Fox in Progress. Okay. My clip art right now I think is low on opacity. There we go. So that's how you're going to save your work. The only downside is that you won't be able to move the pieces that you've made because it's saved as an image. It's not individual layers. So that's the only downside, but it's better than having to restart completely. Okay? And it is a free program, so it can be glitchy. Alright, so that is all for now.